All right, welcome back, everybody. Happy Monday, the day after Championship Sunday, where I got totally smacked around in my betting. I can't believe it. Those referees really, really like Taylor Swift, don't they? Anyway, the immediate impact of the new Trump regime is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see. Border Czar Tom Homan is hard at work trying to rapidly reach his goal of arresting 1,500 alien immigrants each day, alien invaders each day. Amazingly, after just a few days, Homan isn't that far off. ICE nailed almost 1,000 invaders on Sunday and is showing no signs of slowing down. Now, for anyone who thinks this is extreme or bigoted or racist, like the leftists will tell you they are or we are, I want you to truly understand the type of people that Homan and his team are going after. Dr. Phil, not after him, but Dr. Phil joined Homan. He joined forces with our new border czar, mainly to prove that the new administration isn't kicking out the loving and hardworking people that the Democrats want you to think that they're removing. Here's one guy who will be packing his bags. Now take a listen to his story.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You've been deported before from the United States?
No.
Never been deported?
I've been in the system before.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children, and he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with a sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really? And never been deported?
Nope.
Huh. Let's take them in, process and lock them up.
Got it, sir.
Well, that man, an illegal alien charged with sex crimes involving children, folks, was freely walking around the residential streets of Chicago, a deep blue sanctuary hellhole. Any American who doesn't have an issue with this is not the type of American that I want to share the country with. Got plenty more to discuss, always. Let's react. Well, let's start off with, I don't know, the best story of the weekend, certainly the best story of the day. For anyone who missed it, Donald Trump sent 2 flights packed with illegal Colombian nationals back to Colombia. They're here illegally, packed up 2 flights, sent them off, only to see those 2 flights turned away by the Colombian president, Gustavo Petro. Now, just how do you think that worked out for Gustavo? Trump immediately slapped an emergency 25% tariff on all Colombian imports. Well, that didn't sit very well, and in no time at all, Gustavo changed his tune. Instead of turning away those migrant flights, Petro is now offering his own presidential airplane to come pick up these invaders. That's called cause and effect, folks. If you still doubt the strategic use of these tariffs after this, what exactly is your argument? I mean, it's exactly what Trump said he was going to do. And I'm telling you, within minutes, Trump said we're going to slap an immediate 25% tariff on anything coming into this country on Colombia. And then he said, and I'm going to give it another 10 days or so, and then it'll go up to 50%. And immediately, like that, things changed. Trump is getting stuff done. Trump and his team had a very busy weekend. Somehow, the president still found time for a few rounds of golf and made it a point to let the internet know, his haters, that he's back in a major way. Trump posted this on Instagram, a fitting picture with the FAFO sign right next to his face, meaning, and for those of you on radio, picture of Trump wearing the hat, all gangster-like, and it said FAFO, fuck around and find out. And that's exactly what Colombia did. CBS, on the other hand, has decided to join CNN in digging their own grave. J.D. Vance sat for a great interview on Meet the Press and was asked why grocery prices haven't fallen back to earth in just 5 days. Listen to his response.
Things you experience at the grocery store, what people touch and feel. That's what you were talking about, bacon on the campaign trail.
Of course, of course.
Those things When do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, Margaret, how does bacon get to the grocery store? It comes on trucks that are fueled by diesel fuel. If the diesel's way too expensive, the bacon's going to become more expensive. How do we grow the bacon? Our farmers need energy to produce it. So if we lower energy prices, we are going to see lower prices for consumers, and that is what we're trying to fight for.
So first of all, that was a dumb question by Brennan. That was the most ridiculous question. So Biden jacked up prices for 4 years. 4 years, and they've never come down. They've always gone up. Biden started here. They're here now. They went up fast and they keep going up. But in 5 days, Margaret Brennan, you dumbass, 5 days, you think the price of bacon is going to come down? Do you know anything about anything? The inflation, the economy, oil? Because if you buy oil now, it takes you 45 days to use that. You buy it, you refine it, it goes through. The cost of oil is still going to be up for 45 days, and everything you do to transport bacon, Margaret, is going to stay high for the next 45 days until Trump gets the price of oil down and other things. What a dumb question. 5 days? And by the way, she really thought she had J.D. Vance there. Isn't it nice to have a vice president who, first of all, sits for interviews with the other team, and second, can articulate his thoughts and crush the mainstream media rats when they need to put them back in their place. And I'm thinking about Kamala Harris, who had nothing to say when asked a tough question, certainly about the economy. It became a word salad of nonsense. JD, Kamala, big difference in vice presidents, right? Trump's two-gender declaration is driving the multi-gender freaks insane. Listen to this pathetic TikTok rant from some guy who clearly has no idea what he's talking about.
Hey, y'all, it's me again. I can't get a passport right now. And little fun fact for you, in case you didn't know either. For people with gender markers that do not match their appearance, or the gender marker X that are trying to go through United States borders right now, they're being stopped and they're being detained. Hey, can you guys do me a favor and research this funny little thing called V-coding? Y'all, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I gotta go to work like nothing's happening right now.
Okay, so listening on radio, I was a dude, looks like a gal or something, who can't figure out why he can't get a passport because it's a he, and wants to put an X under gender in your passport, which Trump said that's no longer allowed. When he said it right after being sworn in, he said the federal government will recognize two genders, male and female. No more of this other, not sure, X. One person identified their gender as a Bic pen. I swear on my life, they tried to get that through. Out of their mind, these folks. And this, just incredible. After Biden swept the whole North Carolina devastation under the rug during the final weeks of his horrible presidency, Donald Trump has made that state an early priority. Somehow, there are actually people who have a problem with that. Listen.
Los Angeles has been on fire. People have lost everything.
And where is Donald Trump? North Carolina. He's going to North Carolina first. Wonder why that is.
Okay, dumbass. Okay, all right. He went to North Carolina. Yeah, that's true. He was there for like an hour just to show them that he's not Biden. He'll take care of them just because they're Americans like Biden should have. And then he flew off to California, you nut jobs. He went from North Carolina to California and spent a day there before he went to Nevada, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the video of him standing around a craps table in Las Vegas, you got to see this. This is amazing. The president of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, standing around a craps table in Las Vegas. Unbelievable. He is a man of the people. But you dumbasses saying, oh, he went to North Carolina. Yeah, he went to North Carolina because Biden ignored him. FEMA said if you got a Trump sign, even though your house is devastated, wiped out, if you had a Trump sign on your lawn, ignore them. Of course he's going to go. And of course he did go to California. Who voted for the other team? Who voted for Kamala Harris? He didn't care. Trump still went to California. And we got one more. We got a deranged TikTok rant for you today. This one comes from an angry lib who thinks she can tell us where to vacation. Keep in mind, as this woman tries to ban us from Mexico, she's probably sporting a New York Yankees hat too.
And let me make something absolutely clear, unless it wasn't already. If you voted for Trump, you are not allowed in Mexico. You are not allowed in Cabos, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Aguascalientes, none of that. Guess what, baby? That's all in Mexico. You don't like us, we don't like you. Don't go there. Stay in your country. Figure it out. Vacation, I don't know, maybe Nebraska perhaps. One of the red states that you love so much. Stay there. Don't have margaritas, don't have tequila, no tacos, no enchiladas, none of that for you. Stick to what you know. Maybe a burger, perhaps, no cheese.
Okay, tell your president, whatever her name is, Schoenberg or whatever her name, tell her that you don't want any American tourists in Cancun or Cabo. Okay, genius, brilliant, moron, dumbass, Yankee fan. All right, in 2021, Goya launched Goya Cares, a global initiative to protect children and educate children on mental health. Goya Cares is providing schools and community centers with a preventative education curriculum and a free assembly that includes the viewing of the movie Goya Cares, Press Pause. Press Pause is intended to raise awareness regarding the mental health issues, abuse, and bullying among children, teens, and in our communities. Press Pause is an educational film following 15-year-old Sofia Rodriguez as she navigates adolescence, self-doubt, and an abusive relationship amid her parents' turbulent divorce. Set within the cultural context of her Hispanic family, the film explores her discomfort with unwanted attention from her uncle and the pressures of maintaining a facade of perfection in high school. It introduces the Press Pause campaign promoting kindness and advocacy, highlighted by Sofia leaving a note saying, "You matter," for a bullied peer. The film encourages open family communication about mental health and culminates in Sofia's transformative realization of her right to seek help through the power of empathy and small acts of kindness. Press Pause displays the importance of being proactive in supporting one's community and underscores the critical importance of self-advocacy. All righty, great friends, by the way, great friends at Goya who sponsored this show. We're bringing some more sponsors on. We're growing. We'd love to have more, but Goya really has been there from day one. We appreciate them very much. All right, folks, time for a truth bomb. Well, you know when a politician is so dumb, so stupid that it's almost painful to watch and listen to, time and time again, that politician becomes AOC. And she delivers on her seemingly ongoing pledge to represent the worst of America, the socialist with a certain skew, and that skew is, I don't really know what the hell I'm talking about. In the latest example of a progressive leftist talking out their backside, I present one of our top congressional embarrassments. AOC tweeted, quote, "To punish Colombia, Trump is about to make every American pay even more for coffee. Remember, we pay the tariffs, not Colombia. Trump is all about making inflation worse for working class Americans, not better. He's lining the pockets of himself and the billionaire class." Well, that is just absolute nonsense. When you tariff, when you put a tax up, it costs people more to sell into your country, which means you turn around and say, well, we were going to sell into your country. We want your numbers down too. It's a give and take, folks. And we saw the Colombian president doesn't agree with the Colombian AOC. He agrees with Donald Trump, as he did exactly what Trump demanded he would do. So he didn't get that punitive 25% tax. AOC is so out of touch that she thought she could get conservatives mad by saying tariff wars with Colombia could lead to higher coffee prices. No, AOC. AOC, look, you told Walmart, you told Amazon, you told Walmart and Amazon, don't go to your district in Brooklyn because of the way they were doing business. You were the one who killed jobs. You were the one who doesn't understand the economy. AOC, please, just zip it. Well, I don't really care, Margaret. Do you hear that? And I'm quoting. I don't really care, Margaret. That's the pinnacle of MAGAdom moving forward. Who had a worse Sunday? my betting slip, the Washington Commanders or Margaret Brennan? CBS anchor and leftist machine media soldier Margaret Brennan, she had a rough Sunday.
And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted. These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted, and because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
I don't really care, Margaret. Don't really care. They really, really want these invaders in our country, don't they? They tell us so. They show us so. This is the hill the leftist machine is willing to die on. Come hell or high water, they want these illegals in our country, eating up our resources, raping our women and children, distributing fentanyl that's killing our children. They want these gang members terrorizing our cities and towns. This is what they want. You know why? They want it because they want the votes. They want those Democrat votes from these illegal invaders. So once they get them over here, once they get the White House, Senate, and House, you know as well as I do, they're going to make illegals, give them the ability to vote. That's what this is all about. Let's get into it. You see, when a liberal doesn't care, which is always, they just show you they don't care by placing a welcome mat firmly on our southern border. By not giving a damn about dying Americans, they show you they don't care, like nearly all Democrats voting against the bill that would remove illegals who've committed crimes. You believe that? Democrats almost unanimously voted against that bill, like fighting back against removing invaders by teaching them how to subvert getting sent back. They're going to fight back. They're going to fight back by saying things like, well, that was just one case, like Margaret Brennan said. They've said it before, and just like Margaret Brennan on CBS on Sunday, it was J.D. Vance, then a candidate, who had to shut down Martha Raddatz on ABC, who was also on downplay the migrant crisis duty.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
Only, Martha, do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem and not Kamala Harris's open border?
Only a handful, Margaret Brennan foolishly says, especially to J.D. Vance. I mean, only a handful of Venezuelan gangbangers were taking down only a handful of apartments in Colorado. Remember that? That was a huge, huge turning point. The media, you don't hate the leftist media enough. You don't hate the legacy media enough when some dumbass can go on there. And I know Martha, she's not a bad person. She's just, can you believe she said only a handful of Venezuelan gangbangers are taking down apartment buildings in Colorado? Nothing to see here? It's okay if invaders harass Americans as long as it's only a handful of incidences? Then I guess they're absolutely okay with the fact that a convicted sex offender walks the streets of Chicago with ease.
Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children, and he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with a sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with.
So I guess Democrats are just fine with known sexual predators walking their streets, only a handful, right? Fine, because it's not just one. Just one predator is okay for them in that neighborhood, as long as we can protect the existence of sanctuary cities and allow for the free flow of invaders into the country. So much so that they're giving them instructions on how to avoid being deported. Maybe that's why those who are in this country illegally feel entitled to do so, because they have the backing of the leftists, of the left, of the Democrats, and their intent on destroying this country. Mexican flags waving proudly, except they have no interest whatsoever in going back to their own countries. But how did we get here? How did we get to a point where they're literally chanting on the streets about continuing to break our laws vocally in front of cameras? Well, because they've got the backing of the people within our own country on the left. The leftist machine is backing that. The mainstream media, by the way, does their bidding for them also. A Congress intent on keeping illegals here to vote for them in future elections. Like I said, the protests loudly, they do, but they also protest in ways we're not even seeing on the surface. This was what we are up against. They're actually manuals being distributed within the deep state on how the swamp can resist. Leave no trace, it says. Ask endless questions. Delay. It's an obstruction for dummies manual for the swamp creatures. You want to get rid of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI? It's okay. We can just act like we eliminated the entire division, but then rename it something else. They know what the mandate was. They know that well more than half of America made it very clear that they want change, and they voted for it in Trump. And they thought every single aspect through it in America. But of course, as always, the leftist machine, they don't give a damn about your votes. We've had some Senate confirmations go through already. Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth, but there are some big ones to focus on this week, 3 exactly, and they're controversial to say the least. RFK Jr. for Health and Human Services Secretary on Wednesday, Kash Patel, we need him badly, folks, for FBI Director, and Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence on Thursday. Busy week for the Senate, but very busy week for the deep state. And the leftist machine is hard at work trying to stop all of that from happening. Those confirmations would be a massive hit to the deep state, and they know it. The grand perpetrator of the Russian collusion hoax, ex-CIA Director John Brennan, clown, who is one of the 51 so-called intelligence officials who lied to Americans about Hunter Biden's laptop, somehow thinks that what he thinks even matters anymore.
When there are National Security Council meetings that the president chairs in the White House Situation Room, usually the first person to speak would be the Director of National Intelligence and the Director of CIA. They lay down the intelligence basis for any type of policy discussion that ensues. And so if that intelligence basis, that briefing, is going to be skewed or is going to be lacking some very important critical information, the policy decision that ultimately comes out of it is also going to be baseless, and also, it's going to be potentially threatening to our national security.
So this clown gets caught lying, clearly lying, and he's still some sort of analyst on MSNBC, on left-wing legacy media. You don't hate them enough. There's a reason why their ratings are just plummeting across the board. Moving over to digital. Well, first of all, no one cares what this lying sack of poop communist thinks. That's number one here. But these people actually have the gall, after what this country went through for 4 years, of not knowing who the actual president is or was, of endangering our national security by having a senile geriatric clown sit in the office while they actively covered up his condition. They have the audacity to talk about defending our national security. They put us at risk. Not to mention, Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, went down for the count. Secretary of Defense. The Pentagon, ran the Pentagon. He got sick, went to the hospital, told his associate, don't tell anyone. I mean, they worry about our national security now. By the way, this Brennan guy, he spied on Trump associates in the first time. This is the quintessential deep state soldier who has obvious reasons to fear someone like Tulsi Gabbard, or even more, Kash Patel, taking over as head of intelligence in the FBI. I would love to see Kash get in there and just immediately investigate that son of a bitch. The fact that one of the swamp's most notorious, consistent, and corrupt liars doesn't want Tulsi or Kash for the jobs is a resounding endorsement, and a reason why they should be confirmed, period. End of story. Look, they're going to fight, and they're going to fight dirty. That's what Democrats do. And something that Republicans just don't. We watched this election like hawks. RNC co-chairs Michael Whatley and Laura Trump watched the polls, watched everywhere they could make sure that Democrats didn't have their way with our democratic electoral process. They would have cheated if they could, folks, but we stopped them, and we won. President Trump won. MAGA won. We found the hard way. We fought the hard way, the right way. And we can't forget that what they don't give a damn about, that mandate, the leftist machine, aided and abetted by the deep state, they want a suffering and broken America. That's how they keep power, and that's how, I'll say it again, it's a common theme on this show. They want your money, of course. They want the power, of course. But your money and their power gives them what they really want. They want control over you. They want us feeble. They want us invaded. And they've made that very, very clear. So when they fight back dirty, we don't just say, I don't really care, Margaret. We are in the driver's seat now. We're running the show. We're the ones running the show and calling the shots. So when they try to fight back and fight dirty, I don't really care, Margaret, is our answer, plain and simple. But we go further and we make sure we end the disease of liberalism, leftism, communism, and a media, propaganda media that supports it all. Oh, Ben & Jerry's, take a listen to this. This is a good one.
We use our power, our privilege, our platform, and our relationship with our fans to advocate for progressive social change. So no, we're not just going to stick to ice cream.
And we're never going to stop trying to dismantle white supremacy, end the climate crisis, or fight for our democracy.
Oh, boy. Okay, so Ben & Jerry's, yeah, no one really cares in that one. These socialists, then they're literal socialists. Ben & Jerry's are literal Vermont socialists. They seem to forget that, one, go woke, go broke, and number two, when you go broke, then you can't be a good little leftist warrior soldier. By the way, Ben & Jerry's, over, done. Forget about it.